All right, all right, all right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. Wow. Good evening, National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated family. We're back after our July summer break. Welcome to our August NBCUSA Hope Health webinar. TempleCare matters. And we have a great, I say this every time, but we have a great session in store for you on this evening. All right, we hope everyone, I'm going to say it again, we hope everyone had a blessed summer break. It's good to get some R&R. All right. We want to begin by acknowledging our national leadership, our awesome president, Dr. Jerry Young, our general secretary, Dr. Alvin Edwards, our chair of our federal faith-based development initiative, Dr. Alvin Love, and yours truly, Michael Miner. I'm the national director of the NBCUSA Hope Health Initiative. All right, look, in this evening's TempleCare Matters webinar, we'll share about the August Suggested Health Services, National Immunization Awareness Month, and National Breastfeeding Month. We have a special guest tonight, a treat. We have an expert who's going to talk to us tonight about breastfeeding. All right. We're going to include our monthly Let's Move update in our summer of about our summer of health and wellness, which I know we're all out there moving around, having a good time, exercising our body. We know we lost a bunch of weight anyway. And then we'll share some updates on our mental health first aid training. I do want to say, for those of us down in the South, it's back to school time. We're praying for a blessed school year for all of our youth. Amen. And I know some of the parents and grandparents are happy that school is back in session. Amen. And we'll get in our next call, we'll get our Northeast, Eastern, and Wild West folks who start after Labor Day. Now we want to begin. We got to do a little promo. This evening's webinar is supported by funding from the NIH's All of Us research program. All right, we want you to join our NBCUSA Hope team in becoming 1 in a million in one of our nation's most robust research studies. To learn more, you may go to joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. That's joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. Now, to make sure you go on the right landing page, make sure that the page is on there. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Duke. There's a picture of me and Sister Minor. That's the page, and learn all about it. The All of Us Research Program. All right. Now, of course, this webinar is the latest in a series of First Tuesday TempleCare Matters webinars that evolved in some cases to hybrid events with virtual and in-person watch gatherings in our local NBCUSA congregations. So shout out to everybody who are there in their churches or at living rooms across the country sharing information tonight about health. All right, now as we always do, it's time for our COVID-19 update. As we move from a pandemic to an endemic, and we're trying to get our way to a no-demic. All right, so COVID-19 hospitalizations are rising. Yes, for the first time since the beginning of 2023, COVID-19 hospitalizations are rising. But public health experts, the White House, the Biden administration, they're confident that the U.S. is well positioned to manage the virus heading into the fall. Now, it's more difficult than early in the pandemic first started to know how many infections are circulating in our nation. That's because the state data reporting requirements have changed because they were tied to the public health emergency that ended in May. But a 10.3% increase in weekly COVID-19 hospital admissions in mid-July. That's still only just over 7,000 people, but it's a reminder that the virus is still a public health challenge. Now, is this resurgence different than before? Well, one major difference in NBCUSA Nation is that there is not an emerging variant of concern like it was with Omicron that's rapidly growing. That's according to the Illumina Chief Medical Officer, Phil Febo. Now, when will an updated, this is what y'all been asking us about. We've got some emails and some posts. When is the updated COVID-19 shot be available and who will pay for it? Well, vaccine manufacturers are working on readying an updated monovalent COVID-19 vaccine for the fall. Now, after the FDA's External Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee in June made this recommendation, the shot should target the XBB.1.5 Omicron strain. Health insurers are obligated to cover preventive services such as vaccines under the Affordable Care Act. That means that we'll have access to the updated shot at no cost. Older adults will also access under Medicare Part B. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is standing up a $1.1 billion program to ensure uninsured people have access to COVID-19 vaccines and treatment at certain pharmacies. So not to worry, we should be ready to rock and roll. Yes.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. You know, I'm always behind the scenes, but I just received a major news flash about COVID-19 research. I just sent it to you in the chat. Could you check it out and let everyone know about it?
Wow. Okay. Excuse us. Hold on. I'm getting it here. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Duke. Let me just pause. And we have some breaking news here this evening. Wow. The National Institutes of Health has launched a new study for those suffering from long COVID. About 15% of all adults in the U.S. reported having had long COVID symptoms at some point, while 6% now report symptoms, according to a January study from the Kaiser Family Foundation. All right, so what they're saying now is that you can sign up if you or somebody you know suffering from long COVID, and you can go, Duke, would you put that in the chat for us, to go to recovercovid.org. That's recovered. Okay, so look, we're just gonna take this time. This is breaking news tonight. We're gonna go through the chat. Hold on, we're gonna go to the chat for our social media. This is very important. Thank you, Duke, for catching that. And we're gonna type this in the chat across our social media. That's www.recovercovid.org. So there you have it. And for all of y'all that are watching us on social media across our Facebook and our YouTube channels, we just put that in for you. This we just hot off the press. And if you know of other people who are suffering from long COVID, be a part of this study. Thank you again, Duke. All right. Well, not only are we talking about vaccination, guess what, y'all? August is Immunization Awareness Month. Wow. Not only should we be up to date on our COVID-19 vaccines, we should also be concerned about all of our relevant vaccinations. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, thousands of Americans, adults, get sick each year from diseases that vaccines can prevent. For patients with asthma or COPD, vaccines are an important step in protecting their health from serious diseases like the flu and pneumonia. Why are vaccines important? They help provide protection from infectious diseases and can lessen the severity of illness. If you are immune to a disease, you can be exposed to it without becoming sick. Simply put, because of advances in medical science, vaccines can help protect us against more diseases than ever before. Some diseases that once injured or killed thousands of people have been eliminated primarily due to vaccines. So check on and get your vaccination. And most of us that are over 50, we should be talking about shingles. I'm just throwing it out there for free. All right, now I did enough talking now. I am excited about our evening's feature, National Breastfeeding Month. Amen. We're fortunate to have a great guest panelist for us this evening to share about our evening's feature. To set the stage and conduct this part of this evening's webinar, we're going to go to Sister Ellen McKnight, our NBCUSA National Nutrition Coordinator. And as we do this thing live, and we're sometimes with technical difficulties, she'll be coming by voice, and she will introduce our panelists and moderate this section. Sister Ellen, we're in your hands.
Thank you so much, Dr. Miner, and good evening, everyone. As he has already mentioned, it is National Breastfeeding Awareness Month, and we are truly blessed to have one of the phenomenal registered dietitians from the state of Louisiana to share about the benefits and her knowledge regarding breastfeeding for moms and babies. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Terrion Fairley Collins. Hi, Terrion, how are you?
Hi, Ellen. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I'm so glad that you're good. So listen, I know about how wonderful you are and how you've been a pioneer in the field of nutrition, dietetics, and education. You have precepted so many students. You have helped do test prep and all those other things. But breastfeeding is one of those things that you just know like the back of your hand. So before we get started with that, could you just give us a little introduction about you and your career in the field, and just let us know why you're so passionate about breastfeeding?
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you all so much again for inviting me. I'm Terrion Fairley Collins. I've actually been a registered dietitian. Next week will be 9 years. Time goes by fast. I graduated from Southern University. I got my undergrad in BS in nutrition, and I completed the dietetic internship program. And once I passed my exam, I actually started working for the WIC program, and I've been doing that all these years. I am super passionate. I just love helping people. I love to see people thrive, doing well, and just teaching them about the basics of just sound nutrition. I didn't really know much about breastfeeding when I first got started in WIC, but since being a part of WIC, oh my goodness, I've learned so much, and I have such a great appreciation, more so now, for just moms and just women and just all the things that our bodies are capable of doing. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Terrion. And so we'd like to go ahead and just jump right on in. So we know you're a certified lactation counselor. And so could you just share what are some of the benefits of breastfeeding for moms and baby?
I sure can. So one of the first things I always tell parents, really, believe it or not, one of the economic benefits of breastfeeding is that it is free, meaning that you don't have to pay it. It's something that our bodies as women, we make. And so it's not anything that has to be purchased or made in a lab. Our bodies produce it perfectly. It's the perfect nutrition for our babies. And it's something that you have readily available. It's super convenient. I always tell moms, if it's late in the evening or during the middle of the night and baby's hungry, you don't have to get up and go prepare, and boil a bottle, prepare the formula, warm in the bottle and all those things. You can just, get your baby and put them right on and let them nurse, and you guys have that bonding experience, and they usually will go right back to sleep. Because breastfeeding, also it's breast milk is high in melatonin, so that helps babies sleep and relax. I can just go on and on. Usually for the mom, as it relates to postpartum, breastfeeding actually helps the uterus to contract and go back down to its original size. It can help aid in weight loss. So you can usually, every time a woman breastfeeds, she can burn up to about 500 calories per feeding. So those are just some of the things for mom. It can put mom at a lower rate of developing breast cancer, ovarian cancer, just all those things. For baby, it immediately helps with, the biggest thing is immunity defense. When I would say within hours after mom has her baby, her body begins to produce what we call the beginning stages of breast milk, which is called colostrum. And it has double the immunoglobulins, which is basically the things set in place to help build up our baby's immune system. So the sooner she breastfeeds and the longer she breastfeeds, the healthier that baby is. It can help put your baby at a lower risk for developing upper and lower respiratory infections. They help babies boost their IQ. Breastfed babies, studies show breastfed babies tend to have higher IQs and be smarter. It increases that bonding experience between mom and baby. It's just a special thing. And it's something that is unique to only mom and baby. Nowadays with technology, there's different ways to do it. It doesn't have to just be one way. So, if mom chooses to just strictly nurse, she can do that. If she would like to pump, she can do that. And I have learned to give grace in the sense of, if mom may have to, breastfeed and maybe supplement a little bit with formula as she needs to. I always encourage moms that any amount of breast milk that a baby receives is beneficial, whether it's for a day, a week, 2 months, 3 months, any amount of breast milk that a baby gets is super beneficial. So.
Now that was some amazing information, Terrion. You said it's economically sound, it's free, it is convenient. Moms don't have to get up and wash those bottles, and that's probably cutting down on infection as well, because sterilization of those bottles is a thing. You said that it helps with bonding, and for the baby, and then also helps with mom's weight loss, you said.
Oh, yes.
Uterine contraction, getting the uterus back smaller. And then for babies, you said it helps reduce infections like ear infections, upper and lower respiratory infections for the child. So I guess that is, yeah. And then you also mentioned brain health, IQ, standardized testing, and immunity defense with the colostrum. So those are some amazing benefits, Terry. I thank you for sharing. And so, you mentioned, having grace in, not dictating the length of time, but are there any recommendations for the length of time a mom should breastfeed the baby?
So it is right. Like the World Health Organization does recommend breastfeeding exclusively, at least for 6 months. But idealistically, if mom can do it at least for a full year, that's even better. But of course, our bodies go through different things, and sometimes if due to circumstances, via either with mom or baby, moms may not always be able to do that. But I always encourage moms that the longer they breastfeed, the better. In some cultures, believe it or not, it is common for moms to breastfeed their babies really until the age of 2 or 3. So sometimes it just it depends on what works for mom. But I would say at least for 6 months, if I have to give a direct answer.
Okay, so, I hear you saying it's different for every mom, but the World Health Organization, or WHO, recommends 6 months to 12 months of exclusive breastfeeding. But if you want to breastfeed your child longer than that, that is perfectly fine, and it's personal preference. It's just based on what's culturally appropriate and what works for you as mom and baby. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, Terrian, we appreciate you joining us. Before we move on to our next segment, is there anything else you would like moms to know, or dads to know, as it relates to the importance or the benefits of breastfeeding?
Yes. What I will say is breastfeeding is a family effort. Sometimes dads can feel, left out as it relates to breastfeeding, but there is a way that dad can be involved as well. If mom decides to perhaps pump her milk too, in addition to just nursing her baby, that can allow dad to have some hands-on interactions with feeding and bonding with baby too. And so skin to skin is not just for mom and baby. Dad and baby can do skin to skin as well, because when babies, do that skin to skin, it helps to regulate their body temperatures, and it just gives them that feeling of just warmth and just, security. So it's a family effort.
Well, thank you so much, Terrian. That information was amazing. If you have any questions for Ms. Terrian Fairley Collins, registered dietitian nutritionist and certified lactation counselor, you can ask them at the end of the webinar. Thank you so much, Terrian. Back to you, Dr. Miner.
All right, and I see we already started generating some questions, and we'll hold it to the end. So, Terry, hope you're ready. We have a very engaged social media crowd tonight. We're across about 8 different platforms. So, do we work to get it done. So, just hang that Terry on, and thank you again, Sister Ellen, for working us through that segment. Okay, are we going to move on, and we'll now go and talk a little bit more about that joinallofus.org. Okay. This collaboration with the All of Us research program has been just a blessing for us across NBCUSA. Our community isn't just unique in culture and tradition, but also in our specific health needs. Participating in the All of Us research program is a step toward making sure that health research considers all our needs, especially as we talk about people of color, Black people. Why don't you, if you haven't already gone, why don't you do it this evening? Go to joinallofus.org/NBCUSA, or if you already have, why don't you take time out tonight to share it with a family member or friend, to find out more information and enroll, to help make research more inclusive. Join all of us today. For the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, we're hoping that through this effort, we'll be able to find a cure, or at least better treatments for sickle cell. There's so many people that are in the donor database, in the research database, they have sickle cell, a sickle cell trait. So why don't you take an opportunity to go to joinallofus.org/NBCUSA and find out more about that. All right. Well, guess what, everybody? Today is also National Minority Donor Awareness Day. Organ tissue and eye transplants save over, check this out, y'all, 40,000 lives in the United States yearly. Donors provide the organs, the corneas, and tissues. Why do we seek minority donors? You know why? That is, greater diversity among organ donors helps everyone. People would typically have a better probability of matching with someone from a similar race, racial, or ethnic background, even though organ match is not based upon race or ethnicity. The explanation is that individuals belonging to the same ethnic group are more likely to have compatible blood types and tissue markers used to determine a match. The purpose of today, the National Minority Donor Awareness Day, is to honor and promote organ donation among racial and ethnic minority populations in the United States. The goal is to inspire members of unrepresented groups to sign up as organ donors and to tell their loved ones about their decision. I want you to know I have my driver license designated. I'm an organ donor. Amen. Hope that across NBCUSA Nation, wow, that you'll do the same. That you will do the same. All right. Now it's my favorite time. Well, it's my second favorite time. Now, my number one favorite time is where we have our special guests. My number two favorite time, or 1B, is our Let's Move National Baptist Update. I always get excited to hear from Sister Nettie, who's going to come and talk about our training efforts and provide us any other updates and things that we have. Sister Nettie, it's all yours.
Well, good evening, everyone. And I hope that you have had a very restful and active summer, if that makes sense, because rest is important, but we also still need to move. We are getting ready to make a shift as we go forward and close out this last portion of 2023. And we just want to let you know that coming soon, actually in September, so we're just a couple of weeks away, we will have additional resources where we're moving from going from an email-based program where sometimes things can get lost in the shuffle and finding your email. And then we're actually going to have things to be more web-based and hopeful to interface it through our wonderful Hope NBC app. So we will have the resources that are available to you. We're going to have the catalog of information that has been sent out over the past year, as well as new information in a singular place. So instead of it being scheduled versus email, it will be on demand. We've heard you. We realize that sometimes people join at different times or they're ready for different activities at different points in their lives. So all of that will be available in one place. So please do be on the lookout. Make sure that you are connected with us. If you're not, you can do so at letsmovenbc.com so that you can get that announcement so that you can start to interface that information. We do also want to issue a reminder for you to please share your movement minutes. How much have you been moving during these last couple of months during the summer? Be sure to update that at letsmovenbc.com/MMR. That stands for monthly movement reporting, monthly minutes reports. So letsmovenbc.com/MMR. I'll drop it in all of the chats. So we wanted to give you some information on that. So those are just basically the updates. We're rolling back into getting things moving. We have some big changes coming for us up in September, and we look forward to moving with you more as we come into hopefully some cooler months. So Dr. Miner, I think that is it, and we will just put it back to you.
All right. Thank you there, Sister Nettie. And we're going to have some special, she didn't want to say it there, but we have some special, we have some other people coming and joining us. And we have some very special things going to be happening on our next call in September, after National Baptist. So follow this. We're looking to make sure that you all sign up. And I also typed it on for our social media to Let's Move and get involved in it. But there are going to be some special things and some extra special things available next month for those who join us on Zoom. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. All right. Thank you, Sister Nettie. She's always full of energy. Now it's time for us to talk about our mental health, updates. And we're going to get ready to go to Sister Bettina Campbell, our resident mental health and substance abuse guru, who are going to provide us some updates as we have been working much in this space with our mental health first aid training. We're thankful to have Sister Bettina on our team. She always reminds me of the power of the LMSW, the Licensed Master of Social Work, and the great work that they do in the field. We know across our nation now we're battling multiple instances when it comes to dependency. And so, and all can impact our mental health status. So now Sister Bettina will come and provide any updates that she may have on mental health first aid. Sister Bettina?
Good evening, everyone. I just finished talking to Anita today with regard to the classes. And so we're looking at starting the adult classes back on Saturday, September the 16th. And it will be a 9 to for class. And so if you want to get on the wait list, you can start now by emailing me at bettina@hopenbc.com. That's Bettina, Bettina, @hopenbc.com. And I'll put you on the wait list so that make sure that you get the information. Also, she is scheduled to be in training herself on September the 21st and the 22nd for our youth mental health first aid classes. So shortly after that, so probably in October, we'll be starting our youth mental health first aid classes.
All right, that sounds great. Look, I encourage all of our NBCUSA churches, the same way you got fire extinguishers, I challenge you all to come in and find out more information about this. I think all our churches need to have somebody up and rolling and being a part of this. We know that there's a slight cost for the materials, but it's well worth it. The church have already participated. So you have somebody training for CPR, so have somebody train your church for mental health first aid training. Thank you, that's Sister Bettina. All right, look, we remind everyone again about our self-paced health ambassador training. In June, we launched a series of YouTube videos covering all 8 lessons for the health ambassador certification. So these are the things that you need to do to be a part of that. You just email info@hopenbc.com to register. You request a copy of the lesson training guide and complete the training survey. Now we got the QR code that you can have there, and you can scan the QR code in. It takes you directly to these YouTube videos. We go in, we took our time to really put these together, but keep in mind, you need to have the training manuals to go along with them. It's self-paced, great information. We're Sister Linda Carper, who's been monitoring it. We've gotten great feedback from people. They really love this information. And when you're done, you'll be a certified health ambassador. We had some new people in the Midwest who coming. Sister Teresa, really their team out there in the Midwest are really going strong. And we are hoping that people will have more across the country will be in and be participating about this. Okay? All right. Well, we've covered much this evening, y'all. But the best part is coming now. We want to hear from you. All right, that includes those that are watching us on Zoom and those that are watching on social media. And wow, I'm just amazed. We are right now across 2, 4, 6, 9 different social media channels tonight. And we also thank all those who are sharing it. We see people sharing it across. We get people sharing all across the different platforms. And again, let me just go back and say this again. If it's anything you need update on, information on it, go to info@hopenbc.com. info@hopenbc.com. Anything that you missed, that you need anything information on, it's monitored. Get it there, and we will follow up. All right. Again, we want to acknowledge the financial support for the NIH's All of Us research program. We don't forget our August marketing updates. You may download the complete list of all our annual health services from our website, hopenbc.com, hopenbc.com. You also find other great information there, resources that we have. Don't forget to download our app. Our app is available. Amen. Our app is available for the iPhone, or if you're really blessed like I am, Android, and you can do that. Upcoming, what's happening at the National Baptist? Well, our next webinar will be September 12th. Now, it won't be the first Tuesday because we'll be in the annual session, but it'll be the second Tuesday, September 12th. There's National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, Sickle Cell Disease Awareness Month. We'll also talk about National HIV/AIDS and Aging Awareness Day, September 8th. With a special highlight for Let's Move NBCUSA, September 8th through the 30th. The second Sunday is our Senior Recognition Sunday, where we take time out to have an opportunity to recognize all our seasoned saints. Usually at the Hill and other places, we do it for everybody that's 70 and older. Third Sunday is Sickle Sabbath Sunday, where we highlight about sickle cell disease. And of course, we hope to see you in Kansas City, Kansas City, Missouri, September 4th through 8th, our annual session. Our chieftain of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, Dr. Jerry Young, will present his annual address September 4th through 8th in Kansas City. Amen. Now, you may join us on the web and social media. Again, our webpage is hopenbc.com. We're on Facebook at National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, Hope Health Initiative. Our Twitter feed is at Hope_NBCUSA, or whatever they call it Twitter these days. Our YouTube channel is NBCUSA Hope. Now, if you'd like to enroll, let me say this again, enroll in the self-paced health ambassador training in person, as well, email info@hopenbc.com. Amen. Again, anything that you missed, that you need, info@hopenbc.com. Somebody will respond back to you within 24 hours. All right. Now, look, we appreciate your feedback. So we have and I should have already picked this up already for those that aren't watching on social media, but we want you to take our survey. Take our survey for our webinar. All right. What I've learned, the biggest room there is a room for improvement. You see my head turning here is because I'm going to copy, and I am going to make sure that everybody that is on our social media will get a chance to do this, our webinar survey. Now, look, I know you all do this every time we have a session, but guess what? We may not be on our A game, or we may be on our super duper game, or you may have some thoughts that you want to share with us. We want to learn from you. So please, ma'am, please, sir, take a few minutes and fill out our survey. We would really appreciate that. Okay? All right. Now, let's open up for questions. So I hope that Sister Terrion is ready for some questions. We had one that I posted back in the chat. Hopefully, I still got it down here on my other thing here. We're going to bring Sister Terrion and also any of our other team members there may be other questions that people ask on this evening. And we will go through and do our best to work all the questions. All right. Okay. All right. That first question we had from earlier. All right. Right. Should I still breastfeed if I'm sick? That's a question.
Believe it or not, you absolutely can. The only time it's really not recommended for a mom to breastfeed is if it is an infectious disease, usually, such as like AIDS or whatnot. But other than that, it's actually still okay. During obviously the whole COVID pandemic, at first it was a concern whether moms should breastfeed their babies, but like our bodies are very, very intelligent. And what I mean by that is usually our bodies, the mother's body can tell when the baby is sick via the baby's saliva, and it'll produce extra immunoglobulins and things to help babies fight infection. But the opposite happens as well. So like mom and baby are just really one and connected. So even when mom is sick, that baby is helping her, she's helping that baby. So it's still excellent for immunity either way.
All right. Another question comes up that is it okay to give the babies melatonin?
I would always recommend talking to the baby's pediatrician about that, because sometimes the size of the baby can weigh on that, such as how many milligrams or drops of that. Usually breastfeeding actually has melatonin in it. So most of the time when mom feeds her baby, they'll get what we call milk drunk, but it's usually because of that melatonin that's released, and it helps them to relax and sleep better. But if mom does want to give her baby melatonin, I would highly recommend referring to the baby's doctor. Okay.
Sister Ellen, I'm looking at Sister Ellen. Is there anything else on your end? I got a couple of questions. Wait a minute. Hold on, Sister Ellen. There's a question. Is there any research on breastfeeding and retardation of allergies? Okay.
Um, Actually, breastfeeding usually, believe it or not, helps to it puts babies at a lower risk for developing allergies. Because usually through a woman's breast milk, that baby is is getting exposed to regular foods that mom may consume. Now, it is rare sometimes that allergies can still perhaps develop, but in a lot of cases, breastfeeding actually helps to reduce allergies in babies and small children.
Okay. All right. Well, somebody asked here from our social media side, is there anything that we can't eat or drink? A mother can't eat or drink. I would add to that. So can't eat or drink or another when it comes to that.
Well, I'll start with can't. So usually the same recommendations that are recommended during pregnancy, such as being mindful of how much shellfish you consume. Also, still nothing raw, things of that nature. Being careful with whatever medications you're taking. You always want to let your doctor know or get your doctor's input and permission as far as medications, because obviously, although mom is no longer pregnant, she can still pass those things through her breast milk. So it's still recommended that the same precautions that are taken during pregnancy are still taken during your breastfeeding journey, just to be on the safe side. So that's, of course, alcohol, just anything of that nature. You still want to be mindful. As far as what you can have, it sounds cliche, but it's so true. So one of the biggest ways to have a successful breastfeeding journey is through nutrition, sound nutrition. So you want to make sure you're fueling your body. I always tell moms, definitely try to not go all day with skipping meals, because that can impact on your milk supply. So you want to always eat well-balanced meals, or small snacks and different things throughout the day. The typical whole grains, your lean proteins, your fruits and vegetables, your water intake. That's highly, highly, highly important. So.
Okay. And also, Sister Ellen said, no sushi, right?
Unless no raw sushi.
Well, look, I got to throw this in before Sister Nettie has a question. But before that, what about the people that have this fetish for really hot food, hot sauce and super hot fries, and super hot wings? What about that stuff?
Well, the problem with that is, they, when they eat it, they may do okay with it, but that baby's defecation may be highly potent.
Okay, y'all heard that. Okay. All right. Sister Nettie said, with all the benefits, what recommendations do you have that help shift our culture towards breastfeeding more? And how can churches better support breastfeeding mothers?
I think conversation. I think also allowing moms to feel that believe it, breastfeeding is normal. But a lot of us, I'm not sure what happened with the shift of that. A lot of people tend to kind of shun it like it's something kind of like taboo, but it's actually very normal. It's natural. And I think if we can get back to, just allowing moms to just know like, oh, you're doing a great job, oh, that's awesome, instead of kind of shaming them sometimes if they may have to breastfeed their baby in public, just maybe offering support, like, oh, that's great, you're doing a good job, and not making them feel like just like they're doing something really, really bad. I think it should be more of a conversation of maybe how it was done back in the olden days, just to kind of bring it back, because formula is relatively new. It's about between 50 and 60 years old. So, that's one of the first things I learned, that, before formula was a thing, all there was breastfeeding. So it's very, very, very normal, very natural. And I think if we can just get back to that and really encouraging and supporting moms, whether just through words of affirmation or and just, also to just having that family and friend support too, having families that are encouraging you, not just saying, oh Lord, you're breastfeeding, why don't you just give that baby formula? No, just support.
All right. And then of course Sister Ford says that we can have a breastfeeding room at church, or everything, do that. So
yes.
have it sign up that says, okay, we accommodate. All right.
Right.
Sister Ellen said, is it true that roaches and insects parts are found in formula on the shelf?
Well, it's some warehouses. I've heard, depends on how everything is prepared and prepped. Unfortunately, a lot of the formulas are kind of
Right.
like the shelf life is pretty, it's pretty interesting. So I always tell parents if they can to thoroughly inspect their cans
Gotcha.
before they purchase it, and of course if they open it before they begin mixing it, double check.
Okay. All right. So I guess I guess we didn't hear it earlier. They're still saying you said earlier about getting the fathers involved. I guess somebody didn't catch that. How can the fathers be involved in the breastfeeding process? So I guess somebody didn't hear you previously. So right.
Yeah, definitely. Dads can actually get involved literally by one of the things is if mom decides to pump her milk into a bottle, dad can feed baby. Also dad can do skin to skin. Now baby may try to latch, which is kind of cute, but they can do that. They can still assist with helping to change baby's diaper. I've had dads that actually may help mom to pump if they notice she was off schedule. Just whatever mom needs to accommodate. Whether it be cleaning the bottles so mom can have it readily be available for pumping. Sometimes mom may be nursing baby on one of her breasts, and then the other one may start to leak. I've had dads who kind of go in the gear and they'll go grab an empty bottle and catch it for mom. So it's teamwork. It's definitely teamwork involved.
All right. So they would say, what if you got a stupid boss that don't want to accommodate you at work? Are there any laws and stuff that require the breastfeeding?
Actually, it is Louisiana law that
Now we're nationwide here. So what about? I guess the rest of the nation just depends, huh?
I was about to say it depends, but it's definitely becoming more and more. I guess you can say popular among most of the states, but for sure here in Louisiana, that's law. You cannot refuse an employee from breastfeeding. You have to make some sort of accommodation.
All right. So I guess it's one of the things we can, you check out with your employer, because I guess especially for people getting married and whatnot, that's one thing in the planning process about how that works. Okay. So Ellen, how can moms get free electronic breast pumps? Will some insurance companies pay for them?
Absolutely. Some Medicaid programs pay for them. Some of mom's private insurances pay for them. But the most popular common way, obviously, is through our WIC program. That's one of the resources we offer to all of our breastfeeding moms if needed. So it's up to them. If they decide to get it through WIC, that's fine. Or they can choose through their insurances, but usually between the two.
All right. Then we have somebody said that they had a cousin that was unable. They tried, but unable to breastfeed. They were devastated. So is that something that happens, that mothers are not able to breastfeed?
It's very rare, but it is a thing. And it can be very disappointing. It can make a woman feel like her body failed her, but the important thing mom has to remember is that a fed baby is best. So, you do the very best you can, and just know that whatever you're doing is best for baby.
Okay. All right. I'll try to see if there's anything else around here. So I guess it's something I'm curious about. Like, to me, in the Black culture, for the longest time, breastfeeding was a thing. Then all of a sudden something happened and it was not a thing. So is there any reason why it was a thing and then not a thing?
So apparently it was more so a thing when, Black culture, we would mainly have our babies at home, and we would use more midwives back in the day.
Okay.
But it started to shift when more Black women started to have their babies at hospitals. And the formula was pretty much introduced. And, slowly but surely, it kind of just shifted more so to that. But yeah, back in the day when it was more so a lot of home births, a lot of midwives, just you also had a lot of just family members where, it was generations of families that were, nursing their babies. So that was that was an expected thing. So, and then also good point, Ellen. Also, moms going into the workforce was the shift as well.
Okay. So, well, now doulas, there's a lot of, it's not a doula call, but I'm praying for some of the work that doulas are doing. That's probably one of the things doulas talk about in the process as well. More natural. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm looking at our social media. I think we got all the questions. Wow. They really had some good questions tonight. So Terry, you were ready. Look, y'all, I'm telling you. Terrian was like a last minute. We were on vacation, Gannon, so we do appreciate you and your expertise. I'm always delighted when I see women of color sharing the expertise. I don't think we do enough across our nation to recognize the impact of women of color in our sciences. The reason I bring it up today is because we heard about the Henrietta Lacks settlement. The family was able to settle today. That lady who sales have done so many things to help so many millions of people, the families finally settle. So I wish you all the best. And of course, Terry, if you want to put there in the chat, if anybody would like to connect with you for additional information, maybe get you to speak with them. And look now, you know one thing, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to say this, I might get beat up for it. You know, if we bring in an evangelist or something, we're going to pay them. But if we bring in a speaker to talk about something like health or something, we want them doing an ad girl. So I'm just saying she's going to put a contact information in there. But if you'd like to come, take care. Now, she didn't say that, I did. I'm just throwing it out there for free. So Terry, if you do that, we would appreciate that. Thank you so much. And if you hang out for a few minutes, for those of us that are on Zoom, we'll just have a little wind down. Okay?
All right.
All right. All right, everybody. Woohoo! Well, this concludes our Q&A section. All right. We appreciate the tireless work of our NBCUSA Hope team. Dr. Desi Levy, Sister Lottie Minor, Sister Nettie Johnson, Pastor Dexter Moraney, Sister Ellen McKnight Hill, Dr. Felisa Washington, Minister Geraldine Moore, Sister Loretta Miller, Dr. Lavora Williams, Sister Bettina Campbell, Dr. Marion Talley, and of course, our very capable technology and metrics guru, Thomas Duke Robertson. All right, we're excited too for our 7 regional coordinators. On the Northeast, Pastor Daniel Blackburn. In the Southeast, Sister Brooklyn Rogers. Southwest 1, Pastor Bernard Montgomery. Southwest 2, Sister Linda Copper. Midwest, Sister Teresa Fales Farr. The West, Sister Norma Jackson. The Far West, Pastor Richmond Johnson. Now, if you want to connect with your regional coordinator, you can email info@hopenbc.com. That's info, I-N-F-O, at hopenbc.com. And we do have some great activities coming up this year. Now, I'm going to let some of you all that are watching here on Zoom have some additional questions or comments. So we'll formally close this evening's webinar in just a moment. And then we'll open up the mics for a general Q&A session. We hope to see you all on Tuesday, September 12th for our next TempleCare Matters webinar. Finally, we'll acknowledge our president, Dr. Jerry Young, who reminds us to envision the future exceptionally. This has been a production of the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, the nation's largest Black denomination. God bless and God keep you is our prayer.